Bismillah. I came to Zanzibar in end of 1995, just after the first multi-party elections. The project was to build a resort on the sister island north of, called Pemba. I took it until we had the building permit and everything was ready. But then we realized it was far too early to build a resort on Pemba. Tourism had hardly started on Zanzibar. There were just a few resorts. This is now in 95, 96. So I was there and wanted to stay there. Fellow Muslim brothers and sisters came to visit me on Pemba, and I said I would like to stay here, and I took them around and showed them the poor conditions on Pemba, and we came to a beach where a group of poor women were doing something, seaweed farming. So Hevreka, I found what they could do, and my Swedish brothers and sisters went back to Sweden, and we said we put together money enough to start a company, and we found a company in Spain that would buy the seaweeds that we were growing. The women were, yes, they were doing seaweed farming, which had been started commercially a couple of years earlier. That kept me there until end of or beginning of last year, mid last year, when I had to close down the seaweed farming, mainly because of global warming. The water in the sea, the average temperature has gone up slightly, and it just wiped out, or rather the most valuable species doesn't grow anymore. Hence I've had the experience of starting companies and going through all the bureaucracies and the red tape and dealing with the corruption. And I haven't moved much from the two islands. I have regrettably spent very little time on mainland Tanzania. Now, if we are talking about Arusha, I do have some friends, amongst them a Swedish lady who was amongst the first to build a resort on Zanzibar, actually. I have some friends, Khoja family in Dar es Salaam, and they have connections in Arusha as well. The idea about a Swedish-Tanzanian project came up with Sheikh Olala yesterday. He asked me to put it in my heart, and though right now I don't know really where to start, but I'm returning inshallah to Zanzibar in about a month or so, to my which has been my home since I came there in '95. Regarding other contacts, I don't really. Yes, there's a Swedish documentary filmmaker who is somewhere in the same region, I believe not too far from Arusha, who bought an old German resort of some kind, and he's arranging seminars of different kind, and people come and go. So that's another one, another contact that might be helpful. His name is Lars Johansson. I really, what else can I say to inspire or take this further? In the early or the late 90s, Shabazz Bhatti came from England, and he found a place. He found a place not far from Arusha, I believe, beautifully situated by a small river, and supposedly it is near, not far from where the Aga Khan has something. I don't know whether it's a resort or if it's a school or whatever it is, but that can easily be explored.
The Aga Khan Foundation?
Pardon?
The Aga Khan Foundation?
Yes, the Aga Khan Foundation.
Were there any other charitable projects you were involved in, except for the seaweed farming?
No, that has been my full-time occupation, farming and export. I'll go there, inshallah, now and see what can happen. There is this nice connection now with Sven Rafiulla's daughter Sarina, who was there and teaching music, and we should check with that organization what they are doing, if there is anything. I'll try to make other contacts once I get back to see. But the idea from the beginning was, and when Shabazz Bhatti came there, was to have a setup where people could come and volunteer do miscellaneous things with the local population. Some people come and stay and pay, and the Sheikh Walala wanted the name for it. He wanted something to include bridge between the two countries. Although he said sweet Tanzania, sweat is not a very good name. But yeah, we have to find a catching name for it.
What's the bridge for Swahili?
Beg your pardon?
What's bridge in Swahili?
Sorry?
What's bridge in Swahili?
Daraja is one, but there are other words also that I don't remember. But that's a search into the further, a better search into Swahili might give the clue. And I'll do that, and I'll talk to, I have some other friends who are linguistic people who do Kiswahili translations to English and German, who are specialists in this. One is a Dutch who is married to a Zanzibari who is still with the Humboldt University in Germany. And then there's another, an American lady, Natalie Koenigs, who was one of the first people I met she came to Pemba to do research on witchcraft, because Pemba is known as a place for, amongst other things, a place for witchcraft. And she she has a very deep knowledge of the language, which is very complex actually. But I would like to mention, apart from the witchcraft, Pemba being known for witchcraft, when Shekolala had visited there in 95, he came back to South Africa, where I was at that time, and said that there is something of the original Islam in the people,
In Pemba specifically?
in Pemba. And this has many different reasons. One of them is political, because Pemba, on the two islands, Pemba is and has been opposition for, and still is. Also, the main income for Zanzibar before tourism was cloves, and until today, most of the trees, clove trees, are on Pemba. But yeah, and Pemba is north of Zanzibar, so the nearer connection of North Pemba is southern Kenya, and also Tanga. You cross over to Tanga, which is the northernmost city on the coast of Tanzania, and you go straight from there up to Arusha. What else can I say? I think when I come back, I'll explore further context there, and also with some other NGOs that are operating on both sides of on both the islands and mainland. People I've known for years, and who are involved in voluntary, bringing volunteers to Tanzania and Zanzibar. So inshallah, it's still fresh on my plate, but I'll definitely seriously look into how we could go further. I don't know, as I'm leaving here, I don't know who can be connected here, apart from Sarina, who was there, as some of you might know, as a volunteer student teaching music in Arusha. And there might be others. There is there is a Swedish-Tanzanian vänskapsförening or some kind of society, which I really never had contact with, only once, very long time ago. But and I believe there is something of the same kind in Denmark. And today you have so many intermarriages between Scandinavian, well, I should say Scandinavian women, particularly Norwegian and Swedish, who are married to Zanzibaris. And they are in different fields of activities, from academics to environmental. So I think there is possible to find connections. However, as I'm leaving now, I'll inshallah, within 2 or 3 weeks, I'll see who else here would be interested to be involved. One of the guests from the conference is somebody named Zubair from UK, whose parents, I believe, came from, or at least one of them, from Tanzania. So I already spoke a bit to him to just to establish a contact, and he had visited also Zanzibar, and would like to come back. But Zanzibar is and was, of course, a point for explorers and slave traders to when they penetrated into the continent. So it's a good base before something. Eventually, a good base before something could be established in or near Arusha, which is, by the way, is near Kilimanjaro, which is the climate for us from Northern Europe is better there than it's too hot and humid on Zanzibar. I really, for now, I think that has to be it for now, and we'll see if we can create some kind of network of interested people on any media platform before I leave, inshallah.